You, yes, you, wonderful scribe of the extraordinary, you are important. And you are too important to let yourself get burnt out. Personally, I'm feeling a little bit crispy, so we're going to have a different video this week, and I hope you all enjoy. As writers, we love to write, but sometimes you're writing so much and you're doing so much that you just start to feel a little crispy around the edges and you're feeling just a little bit burnt out. So, to prevent that, I recommend you go back to why you love storytelling. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about my favorite television show of all time. I believe it is the best written show ever. Feel free to say what show is your favorite down in the comments below. But today we're going to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not Avatar: The Blue People, not Avatar: The live action TV show, or the one that doesn't exist. We're going to be talking about the original animated series, which is something that honestly I never thought I would be saying. That I'll be talking about the original animated series instead of. Let me know if you think that movie studios should keep remaking our favorite things. Personally, I'm not a big fan of remakes. If it's good, leave it alone because it's good. But that's my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think about remakes, but we're not going to be talking about remakes today. We're going to be talking about the original show. Now, this show is, oh, wow, about 20 years old now. I started watching it as a teenager, and I have behind me on my bookshelf, this is the only non-books, well, I have a lot of Legos and decor, but this is the only non-books that I have on my bookshelf, and that is going to be the DVD box sets of Avatar: The Last Airbender, because it is such a good series that I have watched it time and time and time again, over and over again. I have sat down with notebooks to watch this show and to just keep track of, plot points and character arcs and little details that I really loved and how characters changed and how it, every episode where all the major beats were. The show's great, but today we are specifically going to be talking about one character. And if you didn't notice from the thumbnail of this video, I hope you can guess by the color of my background today, we are going to be talking about Toph. Specifically, how wonderfully themed she is. Now, with stories, it's really important to have an overarching theme in your story, but what can make your characters even more powerful is don't just give your protagonist a theme, give all your characters a theme. So Toph's theme is strength, which works perfectly because she is an earthbender. Now, if you look at Toph visually, she's going to be having a lot of squares and rectangle structures in her character visual design. I'm going to teach you a little bit about visual character design today, not just for writing. So her design has a lot of squares, and squares symbolize strength. So if you look at some of your favorite animated pieces, especially ones that are really stylized, you're going to be seeing a lot of circles, you're going to be seeing a lot of triangles, and you're going to be seeing a lot of squares. So circles are going to be very typically round, youthful, feminine, cute. Think about any character who's adorable. Their face is going to be really pudgy, their eyes are going to be really big and round. And then you have triangles that are either cleverness, mischievous, intellect, that kind of thing. So if you look at characters that have a lot of triangles built in with them, oftentimes triangles are used for a lot of villains because they're slanted. But you can also see triangles in a lot of characters who are very clever. Squares, on the other hand, are boxes. They're strong. You can stack a lot on top of a square because it's sturdy. So very sturdy, very steadfast characters are going to be visually designed made up out of squares. So if you look at Toph's pants, how her sleeves are cuffed, the kind of middle piece that she wears, and even the Earth Kingdom emblem, there's going to be a lot of involved with this design, further emphasizing the steadfast nature. Also green being very nature, being very earthy tones, that you get the idea. But Toph's whole theme is strength. And what's really cool about her being so strong, physically so strong, is if you look at her design, if you look at Toph straight on without knowing her, you would not think strength. She is small, she's a 12-year-old girl, and she's blind. And I think this was a brilliant choice on the writer's part, is to make Toph this little blind girl, because it parallels exactly who she is. She is the embodiment of strength. She's the embodiment of earth. She's the embodiment of steadfast groundness. But going into her character a little bit, because she's young, because she's always been blind, she's been treated as this fragile doll her whole life. And because of that, her parents, they don't even let her eat hot food because it's too hot, it might burn her. She can't see that it's hot. They're incredibly overprotective to the point of suffocating her, where she ends up sneaking out in the middle of the night and becoming an underground street fighter. And it's quite a fun introduction on her part. But with this overbearing nature comes really the only part of her character arc and growth that we really see in the show. And that's she's steadfast. We know this. We got it. She's strong. She's steadfast. She's awesome. She knows who she is, and that's great. But she's not willing to accept help, because to her, help is weakness. She has been helped her entire life. So for her to accept and receive assistance means that the person giving the assistance sees her as weak, which is not at all the case, as revealed to her by Uncle Iroh. Great character. I should do a video about him. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video about Uncle Iroh. I could probably make a bunch of videos about him. Anyways, back to Toph. So really her only major growth that we see in the entire show, from an internal character arc perspective, she gets stronger. But from a character arc perspective, the only growth that we see is when she realizes that people who love me want to help me because they want to, not because they see me as weak, not because they see me as I can't do it, but because they genuinely care about me. And it's at that point that she shifts from being a travel companion to really being a part of the team. Now, Toph is the strong guy of the Avatar team in the 5-man band, which is going to be your five character roles specifically that make up a strong team. She's going to play the role of the tough guy. And the tough guy is, whatever happens, you can rely on the tough guy to get the job done. Toph very much fulfills that role. If there's a mountain to be moved, she will literally move it for you, or carve a hole straight in the middle of it. The other time we see a kind of growth moment for Toph is going to be when she is at her lowest point and when she is encapsulated by fear. And that's not that she has a fear of death. That's not that she has a fear of being captured by the Fire Nation or even fighting against some of their most powerful people. No, her biggest fear is being taken back to her parents and being treated like this fragile doll of a girl again. And she is encased with metal and can't escape. Now, something really cool about Toph, before we get a little bit more into that part of her story, is her character creation bends the rules in the world, but it doesn't break them. And this is a really good lesson to pull out while you are writing. Pull out this lesson from Toph. And that is, because she is blind and is an earthbender, she has such a good connection to the earth. She's so grounded that she actually has learned to see through the vibrations of the earth. And how this is something that you can incorporate into your own writing is that when you create a world, especially if you have a magic system, but no matter what world you create a world, and there's going to be rules of this world. And if you break those rules, your audience will most likely be annoyed and feel you're doing a very Deus Ex Machina fix to a problem. But if you creatively work around the rules, that is going to create some very satisfying moments. And that's exactly what leads Toph to learning how to metal bend, is because it makes sense. There are vibrations going through the earth. If she's so connected to the earth, it would make sense that she'd be able to see through the vibrations. Oh, that's such a good idea. So when she's in her kind of darkest moment of I'm being taken back to my parents, I just can't escape because it's all metal, because she has this deep ingrained connection to this element, she's able to see the impurities in the metal and do what others thought was impossible, and that's bend the metal to her will. She's able to bend it, she's able to shape it, she's able to mold it. And that really cool moment only came about realistically because she had this disability that she already worked her way around. Like Toph it actually becomes a running gag in the show that she can't see, and that her friends have to be reminded that she can't see because she's so capable. And I think that's a really, really cool thing to introduce into a show, especially a show more tailored towards kids, is showing that even though we all have our differences, we all have strengths as well. And what can be seen as a weakness can actually be someone's greatest strength. So because Toph had such this deep connection to the earth, she was able to bend metal, which created it's one of my favorite moments in the show because it's so fast. And that's in the last 4 episodes when they are on the warship, the war blimps. And it's when she breaks down the door into the control room, envelops herself in the metal of the door, and then begins fighting the firebenders in there. It's so funny because the metal bending isn't a thing at all. None whatsoever. So if an earthbender is on a ship made of metal, a flying ship made of metal, they're going to be entirely useless. This is actually seen in the first season when it's the episode with Haku, where all of the all the earthbenders are kept on this metal barge where they can't do anything. Metal was a prison for earthbenders. So to see not only an earthbender, but this tiny little girl break down a thick metal door, bend it to create armor for herself, and then go and attack them, that's a very terrifying moment. And it's a very funny moment to watch the really quick reactions of the firebenders. Creates for it's so fun. This show is just so well written. So Toph is a very strong, steadfast, sturdy character. And the only real growth that we see from her, at least from a character arc perspective, is going to be really early on when she's first introduced and she's having this back and forth with the team of not helping because she doesn't want them to carry her weight. She can carry her own weight, so she doesn't have to carry theirs. And that's the only time that she really has a growth arc moment. It's very encapsulated and it's very short. And I think that's brilliant. It's because Toph is so steadfast and so sturdy and so grounded that her growth arc was kept really short so that for most of the show, she remains fairly unchanging. And I think that's very powerful because that not only speaks into the theme of her character being strength at its core and at its center, it also creates a very strong it creates her as a person to be very strong for other characters to bond to. If you are having issues and there's a lot going on in your life, and you want to go to someone to help or even talk through things, you'll feel, I am assuming you'll feel a lot more safe and comfortable talking to someone that you know is very grounded. I know that I am. That whenever I, just need to talk through things or have stuff to work through, I go to my husband because I know that I can trust him. And he's a very grounded person. He's a very steadfast person. I know that if I say something even dumb in the moment, he's going to hear it, be like, okay, she didn't mean that. She's just venting, and help me work through things. You don't want to go through someone who will feed emotionally off of you when you're trying to work through a problem, because then you're just going to rile each other up, and that doesn't help anyone. So it's really cool that Toph becomes this really steadfast, grounded character that people can just know that they can rely on. We don't really see many of these like really intimate moments with her, like the example that I just gave. But she is always a character that the other characters can rely on, and they know that, and they will never have to question whether or not they can rely on her. Aang questioned whether or not he could rely on Katara towards the end of season 3, when Zuko came back into play. She's very fluid. Water. She's a very fluctuating character, but Toph isn't, even though Toph's like, yeah, I get that he chased you all down. I get that he burned my feet. You guys need to look at the bigger picture, and that he is coming here willingly to want to train Aang. Put your grievances aside and let's have him join. Even then, when there's all of this emotional volatility about Zuko joining the team, Toph was like, okay, I get it. Yeah, he hurt me too. I don't care. This is dropped on our plate, or dropped like a silver platter. Wow. You know what I'm trying to say. That this opportunity was brought to us on a silver platter. We need to take it. So giving this character so much strength in all aspects of her character makes her interesting and makes her memorable. Toph is a great example of a strong character that is a strong character. If you like this video, I really appreciate a like and a subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you want to see more videos like this, where I just primarily focus on one character, break them down, share some really cool elements about them, and then share a little bit of tidbits here and there of how you can improve your writing. I believe that as an artist, you should be studying good art. Not trying to copy it, but seeing why it is good, what makes it powerful, what makes it work, what makes it tick. That's how you as a writer or you as an artist can really help yourself grow, is study what's good and practice. Well, my scribes of the extraordinary, that is all I have for you today. I look forward to our next encounter as we continue our journey of going beyond entertainment, one step at a time.